Hi guys. So the past 2 months, I believe November and December, I did videos about books we were reading, and I thought, you know what, January is coming to a close, so I'll go ahead and keep this going and just gonna let you know what we have been reading this month. If you are interested in knowing what those books might be, stick around and I'm gonna let you know what they are. So the focus of this video today is not on picture books, but mainly going to be chapter books and read aloud books. I'll explain a little bit as I go. I'm not trying to get too lengthy on this video, so if anybody has any questions about any of the books that I mentioned, please let me know down below and I'm happy to explain a little bit further. So we're just gonna jump right in, and the first round that I'm gonna talk about are our family books. Read alouds that we are doing together as a family. This might be in the evenings before bed. This could be as part of our school lessons during the day. It just depends on the day and where we're able to fit it in, and we don't do these every single day, but just when we can. The first one is a book that we have actually been reading through for many months now. I've mentioned it in a few other videos, and that is What Would Jesus Do? We are about a quarter of the way through this. We're not very far. It is good. We just, with it being busy with the holidays and the move and all, we haven't done as much reading as I would have hoped to. So we're not super far into this one, but so far we are enjoying it and the kids really like it. And then Easton, with his school lessons, we use the Easy Peasy fourth reader, and we are currently reading through Swiss Family Robinson, and we do that all together as a family. He does not do it independently, but we ended up just doing it all together. It's how everyone has enjoyed the reading lessons to go so far. He does other independent reading on his own, so I am okay to do this all together. But we are currently about halfway through Swiss Family Robinson, and we are all enjoying that. And then me and Easton are still both reading through Around the World in 80 Days. We are not much further than we were when I talked about this before, so we are both currently still reading and making our way through this one. And then me personally, I would love to have more time to read than I actually do. When I was a teenager, I was reading all the time. That's what I did. I was home and I was reading. But as life has progressed and the children in the younger years, I don't have as much time to read as I used to, but I do thoroughly enjoy it when I'm able to. I am currently piecing together a Bell study to go along with our schooling. And so I picked up 2 books from Abebooks, and maybe one of them was from Thriftbooks. And I am going to be using some of the information from these books to go into our study. The first one I picked up was Discovering Bells and Bell Ringing by John Camp. I have not read any of this yet. To be honest, I flipped through it and it kind of looks a little bit heavy on information. So I don't think this is one that I'm going to be sitting down and reading straight through, but I may just flip through it and gather some information from it. And then I did just start reading this one, A Celebration of Bells by Eric Sloan and Eric Hatch. And this one is actually really intriguing so far. And I am going to read this one straight through. I think I'm on chapter 5. But this one is really neat and really full of information. If you have never studied bells or the history of bells, it is very intriguing. So I'm looking forward to making my way further through this one and then sharing some of the information with the rest of the family. And then with our moms group at church, for many months now, we've been going through this devotional, Discerning the Voice of God by Priscilla Shirer, and we are over halfway through this. So I typically only read through this Wednesday nights with the moms group. We do it all together, and then one of the days is independent on our own at home, but this has been really good so far as well. So even though this is a devotional and not necessarily a read aloud, it is something that I'm currently reading that is worth mentioning because it has been very good. Now moving on to Easton. Now Easton is my oldest. He is 10 and he is in 4th grade. He is a wonderful reader and he does enjoy reading. So I'm going to just briefly touch on the books that he completed this month and the ones that he has started and is currently reading through. So he just finished up Storm Runners, and this was a pretty hefty book. This was pretty lengthy, but he actually really enjoyed this book. Now, this is not a Christian author, so there were some things in this book that prompted some conversations among us, which I am honestly okay with. Nothing too inappropriate or anything like that, but there was, just for example, the grandmother, I think, was a part-time psychic, and so that enabled us to have a conversation about what that means and how that lifestyle does not honor God. But it opened up a conversation that we were able to have about that topic. Instead of just saying, oh, put the book down, I asked him if he was uncomfortable continuing or if he was okay to continue reading it. If there was anything else that came up, he could certainly come to me and ask me about it, or we could have a conversation about it. A lot of times I do like to read books with him or read them ahead of him, but I just have not been able to. And I knew that this was not a Christian author, but he made his way through and he completed the whole entire thing. He thoroughly enjoyed this book. He asked me for another one or two by this author, and I did look them up, but I wasn't comfortable ordering any of the other ones that I did read the description about. So for now, this is what we're gonna leave it as for this author. But according to Easton, this was a really good one. And then he is also just started the Prince Warriors Swords of Rima. This is the third book in the series. He has read the first one and he has read the second one, and he loves this series. This is number 3, and he's working his way through this one. He's about a quarter of the way through, and yeah, he thoroughly enjoys these and is writing a book report about this book. So he would recommend this to anyone. And then I mentioned in my my mid-year, I think it was my mid-year homeschool update video that I posted last week, I think it was. Easton is going to be starting, well, he did already start one book club, and then he's going to be starting his second book club this coming Friday. He has already started reading through the Sugar Creek Gang book number 1 called The Swamp Robber. I do not physically have that book here because my brother is reading through that with him. My brother has the copy of the book, but I will insert a picture right here. And they have read, I believe, 3 chapters so far. They really enjoyed it, and so they are going to continue to read through that one. And then he is starting his second book club on Friday with a friend and a group of friends that are his age. This is a virtual book call, so they will create a Zoom call, and they will have all read through chapter 1 of Case for Faith for Kids, and they will discuss it all together, and it will prompt good conversation with them. And it's great for him because it's friends his age, and they're able to kind of relate on the same level. So he'll start that one probably tomorrow. And then let's talk about Zoe. This is Zoe.
Hi.
She is 7 and in 2nd grade, and she has completed the first 2. You're getting ready to start number 3.
No, I finished.
You finished 2.
I finished my second one today.
Yep. She has read Mercy Watson to the Rescue. She has read Mercy Watson Goes for a Ride.
Next I'm excited for this.
And she's getting ready to start number 3, Mercy Watson Fights Crime. She received this series as a Christmas gift. There are 6 books in that book set, so she will start number 3 tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah.
She reads through them as independent readers. She's doing wonderful. She's doing great on her own, and she has really enjoyed this series so far. If anybody else has any suggestions for some series that are similar to the Mercy Watson books, aren't super complicated, but are basically like beginner chapter books, but not overly complicated, but still with a little bit of challenge, please let me know any other suggestions down below, because once she's done these, I would like to move her on to something more. She enjoys the chapter books and wants to feel accomplished with chapter books, but is still working up to being confident to the level of full chapter books. So let me know if you have any good suggestions about chapter books, easy read alouds for 2nd grade, 7 to 8-year-old kiddos. And then for little Miss Eden, she received this set of books for Christmas. and we are just slowly reading through them. These they're princess parables. These are just from Amazon, but they looked really good. They had great reviews. They are Christian based, so they're not your typical Disney princess books, which I'm not anti-Disney princess. I'm not opposed to Disney princess, but these are wonderful because they have all biblical principles and they're really sweet stories to read together. So we have read through 2 or 3 of them, and we will continue to read through the rest of them as she wants to. We read A Royal Christmas to Remember. We read Princess Joy's Birthday Blessing.
And her name's Joy.
And we read, were those the only 2 we read?
We read this
Did
one.
we read the last
I
one?
have 2 of the pages of it.
Yeah, we've started that one. So we started Princess Grace and the Little Lost Kitten. The girls always want to start their reading at like 9:30 at night. And it's usually the time where I'm like, we can read tomorrow. So we'll read like 2 pages and then we try to finish it the next day. Princess Faith's Mysterious Garden. And
This is my favorite
Princess Charity's Courageous Heart.
I love Princess Charity.
And again, they each have, they're all sisters. They have beautiful names and they go on adventures and they learn
Something new every time.
yeah, like character building, adventures, and
Giving. They give. a
giving,
lot.
friendship, kindness, all of those things intertwined into those books,
find-
which are obviously really great things for us to be learning each and every day. And yes, do you have anything to say, Eden? You trying to give a high five? Okay. Zoe, do you have anything else to add?
And those princesses are, and they love to invite new friends over in their neighborhood because they have lots of kids in their neighborhood, and they like to give their gifts too.
Yes, we did learn that in the one book. They gave away all of their gifts to
Except one for each of them.
the kids who maybe didn't have any gifts. So that was really sweet lesson in that book. All right, well, that's all for today. If anybody has any questions about any of the books I mentioned or any other recommendations that would be good for us to explore for February, please let me know. And we will talk very, very soon.
Bye.
Bye. High five.